Hello and welcome to your Mawvelous Yoga with Kelly, and thank you for landing with me on the mat. Today's yoga flow is going to be a mini restorative yin session, and I like doing the yin session as a sort of time to indulge in stillness. So bringing the yoga postures and then holding them for a little bit longer to allow yourself to sink right into the posture. So we'll do some nice deepening of our yoga poses to help strengthen the back. So lengthen and strengthen the spine to help stretch out the shoulders and just to do a little self-care. So let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice, and just feel it all melting away. Another deep breath in. Nice, you can feel yourself just melting. So this indulging in stillness is what we're going to bring to the mind when we come into our posture. We're going to just swing around and start in child's pose. So in child's pose, we are going to, and I'm going to face forward so you can see how I want you to come into it. So we're going to press your bum back to your heels and nice and wide through the knees, and then just walk your hands out and just bring your belly in between your thighs and make yourself come down onto your mat, onto the floor, and then the forehead coming onto the mat or the floor. So we're stimulating that third eye, which is going to help just bring some clarity into your practice. And then I'm reaching with my arms. And when I get into my child's pose, then I want to just kind of wiggle into it and take a nice deep breath in and allow yourself to sink into your child's pose. So while you're in your child's pose, we're going to be in the posture for probably about 3 minutes. So just listen to my voice prompts to cue you when to come out. You don't need to keep watching me. You can allow yourself to close your eyes and sink into your beautiful child's pose, and just trust me to prompt you when it's time to switch postures. So soften yourself into that child's pose and just breathing deeply, filling the body with beautiful air, and allow that nice opportunity to just stretch the spine, stretch the shoulders. Keep in mind, if child's pose is a bit of a struggle on your knees, you can put a nice thick blanket underneath them. You can put a blanket in between your bum and your heels. If it causes grief on your feet, you can put a blanket under your feet, and then they're rested on the blanket. So because we're doing this as a yin session, you want to use some little props, if you have them, to make it as comfortable as possible. All right, so I'm going to stop speaking now, and then we'll just settle into our beautiful child's pose, and I'll prompt you when we're going to switch postures. As you're deepening your breath in your child's pose, you might even feel that connective tissue in the hips release and start to open up. And just notice you might suddenly go a little micro bit deeper, and how nice that feels. We're going to slowly use your hands to press up and walk your hands over to the left and then sink back down. So this is inviting a nice stretch down your right shoulder, and down the right hip. And then allow your forehead to come down. Remember always, and you can just sink in and listen to me talk. You don't need to look at me. Just sink into your beautiful yin process with the posture. And notice the breath as it fills the body. Notice how your stretch deepens and softens. Notice as you have this beautiful clarity of mind that starts to happen in your yin as you just relax and release. Feeling that breath expand through the shoulders, feeling it expand through the across the back as it deepens. And in our fold here, we've got that nice gentle squish of those internal organs, so that's really beneficial for releasing any toxins from inside. So we're going to press with our hands, lift up, and then walk our hands over to the right. And then allow ourselves to sink back in. Just sinking in, stretching out now your left shoulder. So inviting that nice deep breath in. Remember, this is yin, so we're just releasing, relaxing, indulging in stillness. So allowing the forehead to come down to the floor, and then soften through the shoulders, deep breath in. Remember, in yoga, at any time, if you need to shift out of a posture, you can anytime. You can adjust any posture. We want to always be mindful of your body so that yoga is a beautiful practice for you. We're going to press up with our hands and come up gently out of our child's pose. So coming up, I'm going to just start to bring my right knee over to the left. I'm just going to come off my knees and feet, and I'm going to stretch them out. So I'm just going to switch around and extend my legs out. So just mindful of that beautiful stretch. And then let's just generate a little love thump to the legs. Bring some energy flow back into those knees, ankles, into the hips. Nice. And let's do a nice wide leg forward fold now. So wide leg, as wide as what's comfortable for you. So just notice every body is different. So what might be comfortable for you, someone else might go even wider, but we want to just be mindful. This is a yin posture that we're going to hold. So wide leg forward fold. This might be it for you, just getting into the forward fold. But I want you to think about your shoulders down and back, opening up across through the chest so that you're hinging from the hips and not doing a round in. I want you to be thinking about hinging from the hips. So this is opening up through the inner groin area. And then soften your gaze, close your eyes. Beautiful deep breath in through the nose. And soften and notice, just notice. My feet are staying active, so they're not just kind of dangling. I'm keeping them active. And then I'm just allowing the yin process to hold the posture. So just bringing that deepening of the stretch kind of combines with the breath and helps reduce stress. It helps relieve anxiety. So beneficial for your yoga practice to invite some yin into it. It's really, really beneficial. keeping your gaze soft and your breath deep. And just listening to me and your cues, knowing that we're doing this as a beautiful lengthen, strengthen for the spine. Notice as you breathe, when you consciously are aware of your exhalation, notice if you go a little micro deeper into your forward fold. You may have started up here and then now you're down further. You might be one of those people that you're all the way down there, or your arms are maybe stretched out, you've really got lots of flexibility, but I want you to know that it's wherever you're at is where you're at, and that's okay. There's no judgment of your body. You just honor it and notice. See if you can just notice where you're holding tension and release that tension through the breath. Start to walk the hands back up as we come up to full seating upright, and then just bring your legs in together. Give them a little thump again, and we're going to bend the knees and swing around into table. We're not going to stay in table. This is just our transition to a lunge. So I'm going to start with my left foot forward, okay? And I'm going to place my hands on the inside of my front foot, so I have my left foot forward, and then I'm going to just shift my back leg into this lunge. Okay, so I'm pressing through my back heel. I'm leading still with the heart, so I'm bringing my gaze out over the end of the mat. I'm pressing through my fingertips, so I'm dispersing my weight through my whole hand, taking some of that pressure off the wrists. And then I'm inviting that nice deep breath into this lunge. So really nice to go from our forward wide leg fold into this lunge. It's just adding that deepening to that stretch. So even though we're in a yin, and I'm calling it sort of a mini restorative, this is a really engaged posture. So you are holding your weight, supporting yourself. You're pressing through the back heel, you're pressing into the front feet, and then you're bringing the breath. So it will charge the body up. It will get your heart rate engaged because you're using all your muscles to stabilize and engage in this lunge posture. Remember, at any time, if you need to come out, just slowly lower your back knee, and you can do a knee down lunge just as well, and take that pressure off. If it bothers your wrists, gently come out of it, lower your knee. We'll stay here just a little bit longer. Beautiful. Now lower that back knee. While we're on this knee, we're going to heel toe that front left foot all the way over, and we're going to come down into pigeon. So I'm bringing that foot all the way over to the front of the mat where you can see, and then I'm going to shift into pigeon. So pigeon, you want to keep that, I've got my left knee forward, my left hip up. I'm connecting the top of my foot with the mat. And this is like a king pigeon because I'm going to stay up. I'm not going to do reclined and go right down. I'm going to stay up. So I'm still engaging my hands, but I'm really deepening that stretch for the hips, the inner thigh, the groin, and just deepening that stretch. So bringing the breath. We won't be here for too long, but we want to just allow that connective tissue to release. Nice deep breathing. So holding these postures really helps strengthen your focus. It helps with concentration. It helps balance your breath with the posture. Beautiful. I'm going to softly come over onto my left hip. And then I'm going to put my hands behind my back and I'm going to windshield wiper my knees. I want to just stretch out my hips. So I'm just letting the knees go all the way up and over, all the way up and over. Just stretching out the hips, stretching out. It's giving a nice little twist to the spine and just giving a little break there. Generating some blood flow through the hips and the joint, just with that gentle movement. Nice. And then just coming to easy pose for a moment, we're going to give our wrists a little stretch. So just circling the wrists, giving those a little rub. Just always good to be mindful of where you're at so that we're doing really good self-care while we're in our yoga practice. Nice. Shifting now to do the opposite side with your lunge. So my right foot's going to come forward. My left knee is going to go back. I'm going to place my hands to the instep of my front foot. And again, I'm engaging the finger pads so my full hand is pressed on the mat, not just my wrists. If your wrists are troubled with this, you can put a little rolled up towel or blanket there to soften that. I'm just letting my foot go back a little further to deepen into this lunge, and then bringing my gaze out towards the end of the mat, pressing in through my front right foot and out through my back heel, and then inviting that beautiful breath. So we're really strengthening our shoulders, our arms. We're engaging our stabilizing muscles in our feet. And we're connecting the breath with the posture. So it's so wonderful. You might notice you have a little prana energy shake happening. I'm noticing that in my left leg. It's starting to get fatigued. So we know we're really engaging the muscles, which is wonderful. I'm going to slowly lower that back knee. And then I'm going to shift and heel toe my right foot all the way over to the other side of the mat. And then shift forward and come down into pigeon on the other side. So you can see from this side what I meant about your hip being up. You don't want that hip down, you want it up. And I'm framing my front knee with my hands and then engaging. So I'm radiating love out through my heart, through the chest, my shoulders are down, and I'm bringing my gaze out in front of me in this pigeon. So king pigeon, top of my foot's on the mat. If I look over my left shoulder, I can see my leg is straight in line with the mat. So it's not like crooked or bent, it's straight in line. So nice posture. Beautiful supported back bend here. So good to help lengthen and strengthen the spine. Bringing your breath. Beautiful breath, connecting with the body. Just letting everything go, coming into that indulgence of stillness. Indulging in self-care. And how easy is that? You just have to land on the mat. One conscious breath will get you into a meditative state. Just bringing that breath in through the nose, out through the nose. if you've been doing this and you find pigeon is a challenge, you can always do pinwheel. So if you were to do pinwheel, you would come down onto your hip and bend your back leg. And I'll show you as we come out of this pose what an alternative would be. So another deep breath in. Beautiful. So shifting down out of this pose, if I was to go into pinwheel, which is an alternative to pigeon, I would have both knees bent, and this would be a nice hip opener as well. You can also do pigeon laying on your back and just pulling your leg in, your knee into your chest. But for now, we're going to shift into that windshield wiper. Again, we're going to just stretch out those hips. So nice wide with your legs, and let the knees go all the way up and over and all the way back. There we go, just stretching it out. Lovely, just getting that blood flow into the hips, right? Just mindful. And now we're going to shift it back into our easy pose, and again, do a little wrist, circling the wrist. Circle one way and then the other, both wrists. Just giving a little love press in there, just giving that blood flow. Noticing, maybe your wrists are super strong, but if you struggle and going on your palms gives you grief, you can always knuckle up and go on your knuckles. So there's always alternatives to all your yoga practice poses. So we're going to come around now into Sphinx. So shifting now onto your belly, and this is going to be elbows under your shoulders, palms down, tops of the feet on the mat. Okay, and this again, a nice supported back bend. So kind of wiggle into it and just notice. Take a nice deep breath and allow yourself to sink into the posture. So again, I've opened across the chest and heart, so it's like it's leading without hunching or rolling my shoulders. So you want to be thinking about engagement, long in the neck, long and supported in the spine. And then invite that breath as we sink into it as a yin posture. So we'll hold this posture for a few minutes. And it goes so fast, especially if I'm chatting through it. These postures go very fast. The timing, for me even, watching to make sure that we stay in for a nice length of time, and then timing it wise, it's like, oh my gosh, the whole class goes by so fast. But it's just so beautiful how it really deepens the stretch. For this one, this supported bend in the spine, it's lovely because it's supported, right? And we're bringing that beautiful breath to the posture, allowing ourselves to release stresses that we're holding in the body, any anxiousness, and again, just that beautiful stillness. So indulging in our stillness. And you'll find you'll get fatigue in the shoulders holding this posture as well. So there are all little challenges. You would think a simple posture would be so easy to hold, but you do start to get that fatigue happening. And through this whole process, holding our poses in our yin, it does still charge the body up. So it's restorative, but it's also energizing, which is so wonderful. I'm going to shift now onto my back. So we're going to do corpse pose with a twist. So corpse, we're going to lay flat on our back, but I want you to do something a little bit more. So when your legs are extended, I want you to cross right leg over left, and then I want you to bring your feet towards the left. I want you to reach overhead, clasp your hands, And then bring your hands towards the left, the same as your crossed leg feet. So we're corpse with a twist. So we've crossed our legs, we've reached overhead with our arms, and then we're almost making sort of in the direction of a C shape with our body. So that's another beautiful length and strengthen for the spine. Just bringing that gentle side bend that's supported because we're laying on the mat, so we're supported. And now bringing that breath, just notice, is there tension in your shoulders? Can you breathe into that and soften the shoulders? Lovely. Now let's come back to center. Cross our, I'm going to shift the opposite direction now and cross my left over right. And I'm going to shift my arms into the opposite curve for the spine. So we want to balance out our stretch to the spine. And doing our corpse with a twist, we're just bringing that twist with the left leg over right, clasped hands overhead, and then just doing a gentle bend towards the right. And then invite the breath, soften through the hips. Notice, is this shoulder a little tighter than the other? Can you breathe into that and just release that tension? Remembering also, come out of any pose if it gives you any grief, we can modify. Beautiful, walking your feet back to center. And then just a big, beautiful stretch. So stretch like your fingers are being pulled and your toes. Beautiful stretch, and then release. We're coming to the end of this session, but you are always welcome to tag on your Shavasana at the end of any of your yoga practices. And it's a really great opportunity to let your body come to that beautiful indulgent stillness where it can heal the most in stillness. And that beautiful Shavasana that allows you to just be and not have to think or worry. Everything else, it's all going to be there later. Right now, when you land on the mat, it's all about taking care of you. So I thank you for joining me today for our indulgence in stillness in our little yin session. Thank you for joining me on the mat. And I hope you have a marvelous day. Thanks ever so much.